Today we are strapping into the cockpit and aiming for some high-altitude flying in the world of bridge.
High altitude into
We're not just talking about making game contracts. We're aiming higher for the biggest payoff there is, the slam.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going for that, 600 or 700 point bonus, every single bid needs to be absolutely crystal clear. No room for ambiguity.
Absolutely. The difference between making a vulnerable grand slam and, well, going down hundreds often boils down to just one single, well-defined piece of communication.
Yeah.
And expert partnerships, they rely on these highly specialized kind of interlocking tools to manage that really intense risk-reward calculation, especially in those complex high-level auctions.
Okay, so our mission today is to give you a sort of structural shortcut to understanding two of the most critical and advanced slam tray conventions the pros use.
Right.
We're talking Serious 3NT and the very intriguingly named Last Train to Clarksville. We want to walk through when and why these bids get used together.
Yeah, and it's important to stress these aren't your everyday bids. They're specialized language used deep into an auction, really. Serious 3NT is kind of an early declaration like, hey, I'm really interested in slam, while Last Train offers that final non-committal safety net.
Safety net, okay.
Yeah, making sure you don't, overshoot your combined strength.
Yeah, let's unpack this then. Because these are advanced tools, you don't just sprinkle them in anywhere, right?
No, definitely not.
What are the prerequisites? Like, what absolutely has to be established between partners before Serious 3NT or Last Train even become possibilities?
Okay, yeah, it's all about established facts.
Mm-hmm.
You need three critical things locked down. First, a major suit fit, so spades or hearts that has to be explicitly agreed upon, usually at the 3 level or maybe even lower.
Okay.
You absolutely know your trump suit, no question.
Check. We know where we're playing. Got it. What's number 2?
Second, the partnership must already be in a game-forcing auction. This is absolutely crucial. Yeah, we're talking situations like after a 2/1 response, maybe, or using Jacoby 2NT. Just as a quick reminder for anyone, these bids automatically guarantee the partnership has enough combined strength to play at least game.
Even if you're not sure about slam yet.
Exactly. The auction literally cannot stop below the game level.
So we've got enough points for game guaranteed. Our trump suit is confirmed.
Yeah.
We're definitely heading towards 4 spades or 4 hearts minimum.
Precisely. And the third prerequisite ties into that. You must have already started the initial process of cuebidding towards slam.
Oh.
These conventions, Serious 3NT and Last Train, they add nuance within that cuebidding sequence. They don't actually start the slam try themselves.
Okay, the foundation is set. Game force on, major suit agreed, cuebidding underway. Now let's get to that first big tool, Serious 3NT.
Mm-hmm.
The fact he uses the 3NT bid, which normally signals, a balanced hand, maybe stoppers, definitely not usually agreeing a suit that suggests a total redefinition here, doesn't it?
It really does, and that redefinition is where the strategic brilliance lies. Okay. Since your trump suit is already set and game is forced, that 3NT bid is suddenly free. It doesn't need to do its normal job.
Right.
So its core function becomes pulling for serious slam interest and doing it early in the cuebidding sequence. When a player bids 3NT in this specific context, it immediately shouts, I hold real extra values.
Extra value.
Yeah, more than just a maximum for whatever they bid before. And it shows serious slam interest. It means they are, driving the bus towards slam. They want to be there.
So it's not just showing a control like a cue bid does. It's showing power behind the controls.
Yeah.
Like extra aces or kings or maybe just a really good distributional hand.
Exactly right. They're declaring they have the necessary cushion, that bit of redundancy, for a high-stakes contract. It really forces the partner to sit up and take slam seriously right away.
Okay, now here's where it gets really, really interesting, I think. And this is the strategic nugget, maybe, we want you to really focus on. What happens if the bidder skips over 3NT?
Like, they just continue cuebidding a control suit, maybe 4 clubs or 4 diamonds, bypassing 3NT entirely. Why is skipping the bid just as informative as actually making the bid?
That's the absolute key. That's the critical distinction that makes this whole convention work so well. Skipping 3NT is a defined action. It's a denial.
A denial, okay.
If you bypass 3NT, you are still showing control information, which you need for slam exploration, but you are explicitly, deliberately denying having those extra serious values.
Wow.
You're effectively saying, look, I've got my controls covered, but strength-wise, I'm basically a minimum for the auction we're already in.
So the partnership instantly knows the commitment level. If 3NT gets bid, it's kind of pedal to the metal for slam.
Right.
But if 3 and T is skipped, they know they're more marginal. They have to proceed with maybe more caution.
Exactly. Extreme caution, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't signaling that minimum value by skipping 3NT, doesn't that, give information to the opponents, too?
That's a good point. It does, potentially. But the clarity you gain with your partner is usually considered far more valuable.
Okay, that benefit outweighs the potential risk. By skipping 3NT, you stabilize the auction internally. You've defined the upper limit of your hand's basic value. You and your partner now know that if you do end up pursuing slam, it must be because the other partner, the responder in this case, has something extra.
Because the opener already declared they don't have the serious extras.
Precisely. And this helps prevent that classic disaster, where two minimum hands get excited and bid a thin slam that goes down immediately.
Right, the two minimums meet at the 6th level problem, yeah.
That clarity, that defined commitment level, it's essential because it perfectly sets up the potential use of our second tool, last train to Clarksville. So if we skip 3NT earlier, or maybe 3NT was bid, but the partner came back showing a minimum response, we might still need one final check, a safety net.
Exactly. And last train is just a beautiful, elegant solution for that marginal in-between situation. It becomes available after that serious 3NT decision point, whether 3NT was bid or bypassed.
Yeah.
And it's used when the auction is getting really close to the game level, but one partner feels that their hand is, just slightly better than a simple sign-off in game. Not quite enough to force the issue, but too good to just quit.
Okay, first let's nail down exactly where it happens. Placement. If our agreed trump suit is spades, and game is 4 spades, where does the last train bid occur?
It is always the bid directly below the game contract in the agreed trump suit.
Always a step below.
Always. So trumps are spades, game is 4 spades. The last train bid is 4 hearts.
The 4 hearts, okay.
If trumps were hearts, making game 4 hearts, then the last train bid would be 4 diamonds. No, wait, 4 spades, the suit just below game.
4 spades, right. It's the last stopping point before game.
Exactly. It provides that natural stepping stone right before you might otherwise just sign off in game.
And what's the specific message this final, perfectly positioned bid sends? If it's 4 hearts in our spades example, does that promise, say, a control in hearts, like a normal cue bid would?
And this is the second major strategic point, the really clever part about last train. No, it does not promise a control in the suit bid.
No promise. Okay.
The message is actually quite simple, but nuanced. It says, look, I'm not strong enough to force us to slam myself, and I'm not quite ready to just sign off in game yet.
Right.
So I'm making one final, completely non-committal try, an invitation, really, for you to explore further if you happen to have some modest extras beyond what you've already shown.
That's fascinating, especially the lack of promise compared to traditional cue bidding. The sources really emphasize that last train does not guarantee a control in the suit bid. Why is defining a bid by what it doesn't promise so powerful here?
Because it reserves this specific bid for a very specific hand type. If the hand was strong enough to guarantee a control in that suit, or strong enough to force to slam, the player would just make a normal cue bid, or maybe use Blackwood.
Sure, they'd use the standard tools.
Exactly. Last train is kept aside specifically for the hand that's too good to just stop quietly in game, but definitely not strong enough to commit the partnership further.
So it's purely an invitation.
Purely an invitation, not a command.
Yep.
And critically, it is non-forcing. Partner can, and often does, just bid the game contract.
Okay.
It offers partner a very low-risk chance to go on if they have a little something extra, or, more commonly, to just safely return to the agreed game contract without any embarrassment or pressure.
Okay, so putting them together, the picture becomes clear. We have serious 3NT, potentially initiating the slam investigation with real power early on.
Setting the tone.
And then later, possibly, last train provides that essential safety net, that final check-in, right before we land in game or potentially push higher.
That really is the essence of how they work in tandem. Serious 3NT establishes the high-level aspiration and confirms serious extra values.
Yeah.
If that initial push doesn't immediately confirm a slam is right, or if things are looking marginal, last train acts as that final, gentle invitation. It lets the partnership maximize those borderline hands without taking a catastrophic risk.
Okay, I think walking through a concrete example would really help solidify this. Let's use the specific sequence from our sources, with spades as the agreed trump suit.
Good idea. So we start, as we said, with a major suit fit already agreed in a game-forcing auction. Let's say opener bids 1 spade.
Okay.
And the responder bids 2 no trump. That's the Jacoby convention, showing a spade fit and guaranteeing game-forcing strength.
Right, the stage is perfectly set. Game on, spades agreed. Opener now needs to show controls, so they start cuebidding, let's say 3 clubs.
Good. Opener shows the club control. Responder might now bid 3 spades, perhaps showing slam interest, but maybe minimum values for their Jacoby bid, or it's just confirming trump control. Now it's back to the opener. They have extra values.
They have more than minimum.
Yep. So this is the moment. Opener bids 3, no trump.
Bang. Serious 3-T.
Exactly. Serious 3-T. Declaring high interest in slam and confirming real extra values. Now the cuebidding continues, but with that knowledge established, opener might bid 4 diamonds next.
Okay, showing diamond control.
Responder bids 4 hearts, showing heart control. We're getting quite high now, maybe looking for the last key card or control.
We're just 1 bid away from game, which is 4 spades.
Yeah.
Now, let's imagine the responder who maybe initially showed minimum values with their 3-spade bid now realizes their hand is actually slightly better than they first thought.
Right.
Maybe they have a queen they didn't fully value.
Yeah.
Or an outside jack that looks useful.
Mm-hmm.
Opposite partners shown controls.
Exactly. They have a marginal hand. Now, definitely not enough to just jump to Blackwood, but it feels too good to just sign off meekly in 4 spades.
So
they use 4 hearts. Remember, that's the bid just below the 4-spade game contract as the last train.
Last train to Clarksville.
That's the one. They are inviting the opener to go on to slam if the opener has any little bit extra, maybe something beyond the minimum requirement for their initial serious 3-T bid.
And if the opener doesn't have anything more, if their serious 3-T showed their maximum.
Simple. They just bid 4 spades. The safe game contract everyone agreed was possible from the start. No harm, no foul.
But if the opener does have that marginal extra bit, maybe a key king they weren't sure would be useful, but now looks good, they can accept the invitation.
Exactly. They can now continue the slam search, perhaps using Blackwood or just cuebidding again, knowing their partner had just enough extra to issue the last train invite.
This structure, it really is invaluable, isn't it? It prevents guesswork at the highest levels.
It absolutely ensures that slam is only reached when both partners have specifically contributed defined values. You have the serious values confirmed early by 3-T, potentially boosted by the final marginal extras confirmed by accepting the last train invitation.
Yeah.
These conventions add crucial, non-ambiguous structure to those really high-stakes auctions.
It's genuinely brilliant how much information can be packed into just 1 bid, but only if the partnership has clearly defined every single nuance beforehand.
That's the key. Agreement and definition.
Okay, so just to recap the core function for you listening. Serious 3-T clarifies those high-level slam aspirations and defines extra values early in the process.
Right. And then last train provides that essential final invitation, specifically for those marginal in-between hands. It sits right below the game contract and acts as a vital safety check against overreaching when things aren't totally clear-cut.
The value here isn't just in making more slams, is it? It's also, perhaps more importantly, in the precision of knowing when not to bid them.
Absolutely. Avoiding the bad slams is just as important as bidding the good ones.
So what does all this complex bridge bidding mean for you, especially if you never plan to pick up a deck of cards? Well, I think whether you're managing a big project at work or maybe negotiating a complex deal, there's a lesson here. The value of defining your maximum commitment level early on, that's your serious 3-T moment. And then, critically, building in a final non-committal safety check just before the final sign-off that's your last train, well, that's just a huge lesson in managing risk effectively when the pressure's on.
It really is. And it raises that interesting question we touched on earlier. Think about how much time we spend defining what we will do versus defining the limits of what we won't do or what we can't promise.
That's a great point.
The strategic genius of last train, I think, is partly how it defines itself by what it doesn't promise, no guaranteed control, no forcing commitment. It actively preserves that safety margin.
So the final thought maybe is, where could that kind of clarity about limitations, about what you're not promising, actually secure you the best, safest result in your own high-stakes planning?
Worth thinking about.
Absolutely. Think about that safety margin in your next big commitment. Okay, that's all the time we have for this deep dive.
Subscribe our channel for more videos.